All right, so this is a piece of software I wrote that's used to bring characters to life using agentic audio. It's not just text to speech. You kind of defined how a character should talk and react to different environments. For example, I have like an AI assistant, and I told it I kind of wanted to be a little bit like C3PO. Doesn't sound like it, but it's supposed to like talk with it. So if I say generate speech, and when I say C3PO, it's not like exactly supposed to be like C3PO. It's just supposed to be like kind of nervous and worried and cautious and things like that, right? So that's like the character's attitude and persona, and then that that piece is attached to a voice, and I can change different voices. We're going to go over that afterwards. But when I hit the generate button, it's going to do some processing, which takes a few seconds. It may be asleep. Um, we can see that running over here. This is just on my local host. In the cloud, it runs on modal, so it's a lot faster. Um, but I'm just doing some testing, so it's building it. We'll get this back. So it doesn't just say what I said, say hello to our viewers at home. It says greetings to our esteemed observer. Well, you can listen to it.
Greetings to our esteemed observer from the home quadrant. Your presence, albeit remotely, is indeed appreciated during these unpredictable interstellar endeavors.
And it kind of knows that it's an AI navigation bot on a ship, so it's kind of speaking like that. And if I tell it to generate speech again, it's going to write something different and say something different, but it's gonna still kind of say the same thing. It's just going to be a little bit different, right? And the idea is that I've got an Unreal Engine plugin that calls out to this service um, to get the speech. And you're saying, well, that would be really slow because this is sitting here processing. I don't want my game to sit there and process, right? But it's got like 6 layers of caching inside of it. So everything is like fast when you're calling it in game. And then there's a time to expire that when it expires in the game, it's going to go back to the server. Well, first it's going to play the one on disk, right? Then it's going to go to the server to get a new one. The server is going to pass it a new one, and then it's going to request a new one to get generated. So it's kind of like backing itself up. And then the next time you come through, it's going to download, it's going to play the one it downloaded last time, right? So it's instantly. And then it's going to download a new one, and then it's going to regenerate a new one on the server. So there's like 4 layers, 5 layers there, whatever. But there's more to it than that. But that's like basically how it goes. So that we're always getting these speeches.
Greetings to the viewer at home. I trust you are in a safe and secure location. Do take necessary precautions while observing our journey through the cosmos.
So that's like our Portrayus character, AI assistant. I can switch to mission control and generate speech. Mission control is using 11 labs instead of my own custom thing. So I have a concept of external voice providers. Um, so it's not running here. It's a lot faster going through 11 labs than it is through my own.
Greetings, home base viewer. This is Mission Control. All systems are operational and ready for command.
And then I say it again.
Mission Control to viewer. Acknowledging presence. Prepare for operation updates.
So the idea is, you're not going to be getting the same thing over and over and over again when the characters talk inside of your video games, right? It's not so much like I'm looking to replace a voice actor, because like a voice actor would be saying something pre-recorded and always used. I don't know what this is going to say when I push this button. I look at this more like making a robot talk or making something come to life, and not just.
Greetings. Welcome to Mission Control. Your involvement is valued in our strategic operations.
Like it's a totally different concept. And then we look at it in a game here, my AI assistant is going to come up on the screen.
Greetings. I am your AI navigation and combat assistant, tasked with your guidance and preservation of safety throughout our voyage. We shall commence with a training exercise to acquaint you with the operational controls.
So ideally, you're only going to go through training once. So this isn't like the best of things to do. But now I hit play again. We should get a new one.
Greetings. I am your AI navigation and combat assistant, tasked with your guidance and preservation of safety throughout our voyage. We shall commence with a training exercise to acquaint you with the operational controls.
All right. So I think those are different. I don't know. I haven't tested it immediately. But if we look at the endpoints, I didn't really pay attention to what it said. Um, so greeting there, my primary function. So like that's different. I refresh it. Boom, I get something different, right? Now if I refresh it again, I get the same thing because there's a TTL of 1 minute set to this. So it's gonna keep giving things cache stuff at the rate of what your TTL is. And why this is important is it costs money to either call out to your own text provider or to use the one that I built into my system. If I have to run modal, I'm going to have to pay for that. Versus if I use 11 Labs, I have to pay them. So I can set my TTL to be 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. Maybe you're only getting something new said in the video game every day, depending on what your budget is. And then everything is cached and it's using who is it? Cloudflare R2, I believe it's called, to serve all the content out, so it should be fast globally when it's caching things. That's all built in there. The database layer is Cosmos DB, which is also I'm able to scale it out globally, although that would cost me more money. Right now, I got it on a free tier. It's Vercel for the Next.js app, which scales out globally and has some caching in it as well. And then Cloudflare in front of that as well, which gives me some protection and things like that. But anyway, so as I refresh this, again, we still haven't crossed that minute. Once the minute goes by, though, like this JSON response should be a different one. 921. Rather than keep refreshing this, let me show more stuff in the demo. So the way it works, right? So I'm in here. The projects, characters, and voices. Those are like the three main things, right? So the first thing you need to do is decide what you're using for a voice provider. You can use Voice Studio, which is mine that sits on top of an open source LLM for doing text to speech. And then with that, you can clone an existing voice. So like I could clone my voice and make it talk if I wanted to. I think that's creepy, so I don't. Or you can create your own voice with the prompt, right? So let me create a voice. I use these help wizards because I want it to, it uses AI to enhance my prompt that's going to be used as a prompt to make a voice. So, deep sounding voice of God. Now, again, this is using, so that just took my prompt and made it much bigger. And this is just describing the voice. This isn't like what the character is going to say. This is It's just based on how he's going to sound. So now I generate some sample voices. Right now, everything does cost tokens, but the numbers are just made up. It's just because of this is a public website, and if I put it out there without costs and people started using it, I would go broke. There's no way to buy tokens right now. You can only get them from me on Discord. So I did my God voice.
Behold, my dear friends, let us embark upon a journey of enlightenment and understanding. The path may not be easy, yet it is only through perseverance and unity.
Yeah, that's nice.
Behold, my dear friends,
Nope.
Behold, my dear friends, let us embark upon a journey of enlightenment and understanding.
This is a
The
really good
path may
God
not be
voice, I
easy,
feel like.
yet it is only through perseverance and unity that we shall find true wisdom. Remember, your choices are the compass by which your destiny is charted.
All right, so now we created the voice of God. Sounds an awful lot like Morgan Freeman. So this is creating my custom voice. Now I need a character to tie that voice to, right? So I go over to my characters. Um, we're gonna create a character, a new character. Proteus. So now I can say, am I using an internal or external voice provider? Internal is um, the God voice in the demo. External would be all my voices from like 11 labs and things like that. Right now I just have one. So we're back on internal, God voice in the demo. So now we have to talk about how the character speaks, right? So this is giving them their bringing them to life with their attitude. Um, so we're just going to, for example, our character is the god of lightning. Um, and he is very wise. All right, generate. So I named him Zeus, right? Because we said God of Lightning, but we're not really going to be. Well, we could be Zeus. That's not like trademarked or anything. It usually will not do things with trademarks. I usually tell it to stay away from anything that has to do with the trademark because a lot of these um, third-party providers do not like when I pass them trademark names. So if I wanted one to speak like Donald Trump, I would tell it to. Actually, we can I can show you an example. Um, Make it talk like Trump, which I know a lot of people don't like, but he's a very specific way of talking. Boastful, charismatic, often controversial, exclude conferences, bravado, right? Blah 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 blah. But it doesn't use his name, so that's key because we can't use the real names. So back to advice. God. All right, generate. Alrighty, so great character. So this is how our guy talks. This is what he sounds like. Great character. Oh my God. All right, so now I'm just going to show that dashboard real quick. Actually, let's go here, ToneBoard. My loading screens aren't the best. It's been a while since I've had to build a web app. Friendly God. Say hello to our viewers at home. Now this one will be slower than the other one because it's using the thing on my machine. Oh, oh, you're gonna be kidding me. I spent too much money on OpenAI. That's funny. I can't believe that right now. Hold on. OpenAI. Credits. All right, so I ran out of credits in the middle of my demo. Back over to here. All right, I went through because now I paid for more credits. Again, this is a slower one because it's using my own thing. But when you're in the game, it's all cached as long as you're not trying to get something every 5 seconds, which would be kind of ridiculous. It's not it's not really meant to be real-time text and speech, right? The technology is not there. If I were to do real-time text and speech, I would probably need to put the LLM on the device that is playing the game, which would work on a PC um, in a lot of instances, but it would still be this slow to generate something, which is way too slow, right? So even then, it's not that good. If I were to go to 11 Labs directly or another voice provider, it would take more like 200 milliseconds instead of the time that this took.
Greetings, beloved one, abiding in the comfort of their hearth. May serenity and wisdom envelop you in our shared journey through the cosmos.
Right, so that's great. Okay, so you see how that works. We were looking before at our API endpoint, right? And we were going to see that this changed after a certain amount of time. Okay, so that gave the cached one, but it should have just triggered to kick off another one. And this one, I don't remember if it's mine or the other one. Yeah, come on. All right, we can see it's sampling. That's not sampling. I don't know what's going on there. Get the idea though. Back over to here. External voices. I can change my God character to use a different one. I've got 11 Labs, Google, OpenAI, and Resemble AI as providers right now currently. Um, Google has thousands of voices. So let's do new voice. Oh my God. Select a project. Select a voice provider. I'm just gonna, for an example, we already did an 11 Labs one. Let's just do 11 Labs. I know that works. I haven't tested Google or Symbol in probably over a month. So we've got custom voices that we can build, like these generated ones up top, or just ones that came out of the box, and you can listen.
Hello, Proteus. This is the sound of my character's voice.
And then we can go to Google. Google has a whole mess load of voices. They're not named very nice, but here we go.
Hello, Proteus. This is the sound of my character's voice.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Proteus. This is the sound of my character's voice.
All right, so we're gonna do this just for the heck of it, just to show you something. So now we have this lovely voice of this woman. We're gonna go to our character. I just want to show the separation. So friendly god, edit. Well, that's doing that. This should have updated by now. I didn't notice if the screen updated. Which one was it? So we're still using God voice in demo because we just, no, external. Friendly God. So we're changing God's voice. Update the character. I'll go over here. And let's generate some speech. Say hello to the house. There's different settings depending on what the voice is and what you can do. Oh, this is Proteus. This is a mission control. I forgot to change the voice. You don't want that. You want friendly God. So see, these are different settings because friendly God uses, Google uses different settings from the other provider. All right, play it.
Greetings, dear ones dwelling in the comfort of your abodes. May wisdom and serenity grace yours, your heart and home.
All right, so it sounds different, but it still talks about like the beings and all that good stuff. So one, you can save a line, which just saves this audio. Let me see. Line from friendly. Go. So if you just wanted to put that sentence in a game or something like that and not have a live endpoint for it, that's what the saved line is for. Those are over here, save lines, manage. So, listen.
Greetings, dear ons dwelling, in the comfort of your abodes.
So you would
May
just
wisdom and serenity grace yours, your heart, and home.
one thing. Everything always has a screen text saved with it, including the generated text for people who are challenged with hearing. So that is there for accessibility reasons. But you would just download this, put it in your game if you wanted to. But the bigger thing is these live endpoints. So you don't just send like things to a character and it says it, right? Because that could be very expensive. What you end up doing is you create a live endpoint for your character. And the endpoint name would be something like Friendly God says hello. Into your text message, say hello to the viewers at home. And then this is Friendly God. It saves those settings, you know, if you might want to speed up this Friendly God because she's kind of slow. This cache time, so that's caching it for 60 minutes. The minimum I have is 1 minute. Most things can generate in a few hundred milliseconds, but my built-in one takes like 30 seconds. So if this number, you know, if people were to use this and they want me to lower this number, I'd be open to it. But for now, it's 1 minute. The only person using the system is me. I create my live endpoint, loading live endpoints. I can filter Proteus, all characters in Proteus, Friendly God. Here's my live endpoint. I can copy that endpoint ID, right? Boom. So now I have that endpoint ID. Is this different? Hey, so that the minute went by, it definitely changed that time. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it changed. But that did its thing. Now, the idea is in the video game, you have something the first time you call it in the video game recorded already and saved on disk to play in case this isn't available. And it's going to play that the first time you play it, so there's no delay, and then it's going to call out to ToneBoard and do the call, and I'll show you that afterwards, right? So this is the live endpoint ID for the one we just created. I'm going to hit enter. So this one is the first time it's hitting it. Here we go. Greetings, beloved beings in your homes. May peace and joy accompany your journey through this enchanted realm. So that's what God's saying. It gives you stuff like a file, some of the TTL settings. I don't really need these to come mistake. Another thing, ToneBoard, entire thing, vibe coded. I just did that as an exercise. I could write things myself. I chose not to. Um, Although I have to get in there and figure out how to make those screens load probably prettier. So anyway, back to the things, how it works in the game. So it caches stuff on disk in these JSON files. So I've got my Unreal project. There's a save folder, ToneBoard cache. So these are all the JSON files pointing to the waves, and it rotates and cleans up after itself nicely. And it won't download a wave file unless it's actually changed. At least it's not supposed to. So if I delete all of this, well, so now I have no cache. When I run it,
Greetings. I am your AI navigation and combat assistant.
right,
My primary function is to facilitate.
it still said something right off the bat. And then it went and downloaded this, and now I have something different for it to say.
Greetings. I am your dedicated artificial intelligence combat and navigation assistant. My prime directive is.
If I run it again, it's going to say the same thing. If I run it in a minute after it's passed, it's going to say the same thing, but it's going to kick off a generation for a new one. And then if I hit it again, it's going to say something completely different. So again, it's not real time. It's not like a perfect science. Everything's always different. The biggest thing that I think keeps me from getting there right now is the technology and the cost. I don't want to blow out people being able to use it, but it's better than hearing the character say the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And it gives some variety in what your characters say while you still have control. I do have ideas for these live endpoints for putting in variables that come across as a query string. I want it like to be able to say, maybe I pass it like there's how many people are on the screen in front of me, behind me, and stuff like that. But right now, it's all just a simple plugin for Unreal Engine, not available yet, not documented. The API's call is not documented. I still got to get that out there. Um, but if I look at my project, which is in the other window, I do have plugins, ToneBoard. So it's all encapsulated to this. You pass it in like the audio file your game should play if it can't get something, and then what the ID is and the API key to get something. And then that is another thing. There are API keys to be managed in here. We look over at ToneBoard. So these API keys are your external API keys being used to call into your characters to be able to get things that you would distribute with your game. Um, if you use a voice provider, like 11 Labs, OpenAI, Resemble, or Google, it would you would put your API key for those in here, and it would have to go through to get to those. Um, it's logging. Right now you need tokens. You can see they've been going down during our demo. Um, it should be logging all the activity that's going through and what your tokens are being charged for. So there shouldn't be any funny business going on as far as like I have your API key and I'm charging you for things that it's not clear what it's doing. There there isn't much information about what's going on here other than it's just a generation for this ID, for that endpoint ID. But I'll probably expand the logging as I talk to other people and what they would want to know. But I am logging when I'm doing things. And there's no buying tokens. If I buy tokens, I need a tax. If I take people's money, I need a tax ID, and this becomes a totally different thing. So for right now, if you want to buy tokens, it just tells you to see me on Discord, and I'll give you tokens to play with it if you want to. I'm looking for people to play with it and give me feedback, and maybe someday it'll become a public thing. I don't even know if people want it, like it. I gotta figure out where that is, and I don't know that I would want to quit my job to do this yet. So I might have to like, if it became a thing, pay somebody else to run it or something. I don't know. Uh, we'll see.